Assalamualaikum and greetings. So in this video, I shall be giving my opinions on this book right here. This is Farish A. Noor's The Other Malaysia, Writings on Malaysia's Subaltern History. And it is published by Silverfish Books. It was first released in 2002 and it has 303 pages and is mostly in English. There are bits and pieces of Malay here and there, but they're mostly excerpts of other pieces of writing in which he refers to. This book is basically a collection of articles that the author had written periodically for MalaysiaKini.com. They are mostly pieces about local history, Malay culture, Islam in the region, as well as local politics. A lot of these writings were triggered by events that made it to the press in 2002, so some general knowledge about what happened around that time would be really helpful in somebody who wishes to read this book. There are also a number of book reviews in the book, so if you want to see how a proper book review looks like, definitely have this book a go. I like that this book opened my eyes to a lot of historical events that I didn't know previously. I consider myself a fan of stories, and there are quite a number of factual and historical stories within this book. For example, in the first few opening chapters of the book, we are introduced to the extraordinary life of Sultan Abu Bakar of Johor. We learn about his struggle to keep his land Johor free from English residents, trying as best he can to maintain the sovereignty of his land and his people. And we are introduced to a few historical figures that weren't given much emphasis during our schooling days. People such as Dr. Burhanuddin Al-Hilmi and Ibrahim Yaqub, whose stories were very interesting, and had they achieved their goals at the time, the Malaysia that we know today could have been very different. And I guess that's the thing that I appreciate most about the book. It allowed me to explore a different alternative Malaysia than what I see before me today. And to know that all of these are based on actual happenings and facts makes it all the more compelling, I think. And here are some quotes that I like from the book. From page 155, we have sacrificed our ideals and dreams at the altar of political expediency. Shame on us all. From page 202, he says, we need not fear our own past and the unknown. We would be able to face the future with much greater confidence if we could admit our own internal heterogeneity and complexity rather than continually trying to deny the past and to homogenize the present into one flat, monolithic discourse of sameness. And finally, on page 218, he says, after all these so-called Islamic reform programs and Islamization measures, are we any closer to creating an Islamic society? Do we, as modern Malay Muslims, have better manners, drive safer, pollute less, and consume in a more discriminate manner? Are we more immune to the evils of consumerism, corruption, money politics, or neo-feudal cults of leadership? Have we overcome our baser instincts that manifest themselves in the form of racism and prejudice? All of them very interesting points to ponder, I dare say. The way that the author wrote about certain things felt really partial. The language that the author used to describe certain people and institutions made it really obvious what the author felt about them, and seldom were they in a positive light. One would expect a certain impartiality when it comes to academic work, but of course these are, after all, articles for an online news portal. So I guess you can't really expect full-on academic language from the writer, since the target audience is not just academics alone. Besides that, a small handful of articles felt like they were fillers, in a sense that they sort of felt out of place in the book. Articles such as Humpty Dumpty Politics didn't really help in shedding light to an other Malaysia, but rather just explain the current 2002 Malaysia. But of course, those articles were few and far between, and an overwhelming majority of the book was a real good read. I would recommend this book to anyone who likes history, especially local history, and who would like to know more about the multitude of layers that form our Malaysian history. I would also recommend this book to anyone who feels a little dissatisfied by the way Malaysia has turned out today, especially Malay Muslims, I think. A lot of things for us to think about in this book. I have to admit that I am a Farish A. Noor fan, so I may well be biased in my review of the book. If you have read the book, please feel free to comment down below, especially if you disagree with me, because I would love to hear your input on the matter. Or you can tweet me at IniAnwarHadi, and of course you can also email me at iniuntukakusahaja@gmail.com. And next month we'll be taking a look at Terima Kasih Si Babi Hutan by by Ismail Arifin ataupun Lepat. And that's all for this video. Until next time, may peace be upon you.